Welcome back. As families either skip or delay trips to the pediatrician, lead testing among young children has dropped sharply. And our next guest says that could be a big problem, especially here in the Gateway City. Ed Herman is with the law firm Brown and Crouppen. Ed, good morning. So to really bring this home,
Morning.
St. Louis has one of the highest rates of childhood lead poisoning in the country. But let's go even a step farther back. Why is lead such a hazard in the first place, especially for kids?
Well, lead can cause developmental delays for children, educational delays, brain damage. It's serious stuff, and it can affect adults also, but we're generally more concerned with children because they're developing cognitively, and the lead can affect that. And, Missouri is like the #1 producer of lead in the country, and most of that it does fall in the St. Louis area. Now, I know a lot of people out there are probably thinking, yeah, but I don't have lead in my house, do I? Depends. Lead paint became outlawed in 1979, but a lot of homes were built before 1979, and they're kind of excused. They didn't have to remove the lead paint. This particularly affects urban areas and even some rural areas where a lot of the construction goes back before 1979. So statistically, about half of the children uh, have been exposed or live in an area right now that could still have lead.
Yeah, that's crazy. I saw that stat too. 50% in those urban areas still at risk. So how
Yeah.
do we prevent this? What can we do to try to keep it out of the house?
Well, unfortunately, any damage done by lead is irreversible, but you can prevent things ahead of time by taking some active steps. For one, you got to get your children tested. You can't skip that; it's too important. It can be done safely. The earlier they detect the problem, the quicker they can, prevent any further damage. You have to wash their toys and wash their hands because the way this gets transferred is really from their hands into their mouth. You might say, well, doesn't it taste bad? No, lead actually tastes very sweet to children. That's why you've heard about kids eating, they'll make a joke, oh, that kid had too many paint chips.
Hmm.
What they're doing kind of cruelly is saying there's something wrong with that kid. They ate too much lead. But the reason they eat the paint chips is because they're sweet. So, counterintuitively, if you think you do have this, they don't recommend sanding it off. I guess that puts too many particles in the air and could be even more dangerous. But you have to maintain those areas closely, and I guess service them, paint over them. I don't know what but you got to figure out what to do with that. You shouldn't wear shoes in the house. Shoes actually can bring in quite a bit of lead from the soil into the house, and then it stays inside and doesn't circulate properly.
Right.
This is a big one. If your house has lead pipes, don't take the hot water and use it for cooking or for a baby's formula. Always use the cold water. Always let the water run for at least a full minute before you use any of it. And then you could, of course, take that cold water and cook with it, make spaghetti. If you have to warm it up to make formula, warm up cold water. Don't use the hot water from the tap because that will put potentially that dangerous lead right into a
Yeah.
baby's formula.
Good tips, Ed. We appreciate it. It is still a problem in urban areas like the city of St. Louis. We appreciate your time. If you'd
Absolutely.
like to get in touch with Brown and Crouppen, you can do that anytime by calling 314-222-2222 or check out their website, getbc.com.